Hello, I'm Darren Walsh. I'm here at the Edinburgh Fringe, and I'm here with Liam Withnail.
Hello.
Hello, Liam. I'm going to ask you a few questions. This first one, what's your funniest Fringe experience?
About 3 years ago, I was doing a show at the Edinburgh stand, and we were doing set list. I don't know if you've ever done set list. It was run by Carl Humphreys. You were given subjects to improvise on in the show, and you have to stand on stage in front of an audience and just make up your sets as you go along. So I was there, and Dave Benson Phillips do you remember Get Your Own Back?
No.
Did you grow up in this country?
Yeah.
Get Your Own Back was
I'm from Peterborough though, so...
It's a huge kids TV show. Do you know who Dave Benson Phillips is?
I might be 10 years older than you, I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Okay, Dave Benson Phillips, kids TV presenter. He used to host a show called Get Your Own Back. It was massive. It used to gunge people. That was his thing. You'd have parents on this. I didn't think I'd have to explain.
Was it like Funhouse or something?
Wrong decade. Okay, right. I'm starting to see the problem here. Okay.
Yeah. I grew up with Sooty and Thundercats.
Okay, so Get Your Own Back. It was kids, and they would have their parents on, and they would bring up like, "Oh, my dad made me do my homework," and then they would answer questions, and if they got it wrong, they would have guns thrown on them. Guns was like this big, like.
Yeah.
You understand the concepts of guns.
Okay. Yeah.
So Dave Benson Phillips was doing Get Your Own Back live, right? And it was a big nostalgic hit at the Fringe. And then he came on to do set list, but he doesn't do stand up. So it was dreadful. So he was trying to improvise topics that were coming up on this board behind him about, like, I don't know, politicians or whatever, and he didn't know what to do. So he panicked, and he brought out a pint glass of gunge that he had made to look like cum.
to look like cum.
That was his whole, I've made this, it looks like cum. Does anyone want to get gunged?
What did he use, a hand soap dispenser or something?
I don't know. He had like a formula. He obviously makes a lot of gunge in his spare time, and he'd made this white, disgusting looking cum substance, and he needed a volunteer to be gunged on stage because he couldn't do a set.
He saw you coming.
In enter Liam Withnail. I came on stage, I removed my shirt because it's hard to get come off shirts, and he gunged me. Which for me, as someone who did grow up watching Get Your Own Back, was like a weird Freudian nightmare. But I loved it.
It's kind of like a sort of bukkake type.
Yeah, and most of the time when I tell people that story, they're A, amazed that I met Dave Benson Phillips, B, amazed that he threw cum on me. You seem rather ambivalent about both.
Should we move on to the next question? In a nutshell, how has your Fringe show evolved?
It's hard to say because sometimes the evolution doesn't seem immediate. But then I remember like certain previews. I did a preview in Dundee, which is mistake number one, and it was in a pub that had no separate room for comedy, which, as I'm sure you know, is always a good sign.
Yeah.
And an audience sat like, no one sat in the first 4 rows, and then there was like 30 people sat at the back of a room, and they stared at me for an hour. So it's come on a lot since then.
Yeah.
Because now they sit in the first 4 rows and they laugh.
Yeah, that makes it a massive difference. I bought some masking tape and I just tape off the back seats. And it makes a huge difference, doesn't it, when they sit at the front?
Absolutely, they were so far away, but also the material at that point was not good, so I think that helps as well.
Jokes. Okay, next question. How did you begin your comedy career?
I was 18 and I was at university.
How old are you now?
I'm 30 now.
Oh, right, okay.
What's that? Oh, right, do you think I look older or younger than 30?
No, I think you look fantastic.
Thank you.
Carry on.
I was 18 years old and I was at university, and I don't know if you were 18 at university, but in general...
No, I was 19
right, but that kind of age group, you kind of, you think you're cock of the walk, do you know what I mean? I don't know what you were like at university, obviously. I thought it was like the shit, and I thought life was going to be amazing and just go work out perfectly.
Yeah.
And I went and did an open mic night with a guitar, and I sang some comedy songs, not my songs, covers of like other comedy songs.
Yeah.
And the woman who ran the union said, "Would you like to do a stand-up comedy night?" And I was like, "Sure, I can do that. I'm brilliant at everything."
Right.
Because I'm 19.
Because confidence is key, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, It depends what you're trying to unlock with that gig.
Yeah.
Because I then did the comedy night. I hosted it. That was my first gig. It was comparing a comedy night made up of 4 other people who had never done comedy before.
Yeah.
To mainly our friends who we'd known for 4 weeks at university. And at the time, I remember really thinking, oh, I'm a comedian now.
Yeah.
But if footage existed of that, I would go at great lengths to murder anyone who had copies of it.
That's the thing that people starting stand up now, like there's just footage everywhere, isn't there? Because everyone's got a 4K video camera with them. So
yeah, it's all there forever, and that's worrying. So that was my first, and then I did it a few more times like that, and I thought maybe I should go to an actual comedy club. But I was going to comedy clubs. Me and my friends used to go to comedy clubs when we were like 15 years old, because we discovered that they were less likely to check ID if you were buying alcohol.
Okay, cool. Let's move to the next question. What has been the biggest boost in your comedy career?
I feel like this is a semi-loaded question. I think it's being in the final of the Amused Comedy Award.
Cool.
Genuinely though, like Don Ward came to the final of that, and off the back of that, I've started doing like.
Oh, so this was last year?
Last year.
Oh, right. Okay, I thought.
Oh, you thought I was trying to curry favour for this year? No, last year. Genuinely, I was in. The show last year got into the best Fringe show nomination from Amused, and had a big final.
Yeah.
And Don Ward from the Comedy Store, who I've never played there, came down. And was like, yeah, you can do 5 minutes. And now I'm doing my first 20 there next year. So that is genuinely like, now when you tell people, oh, I've got my 20 at the store, they're like, oh, you must be all right.
Yeah.
So that has opened doors.
Brilliant. Awesome. Okay, finally, how do you create your comedy?
I think this is probably quite a weird thing to do, but I lock all the doors in my house, and then I draw my curtains. My wife has to be out. And I wander around my living room and pretend I'm on stage, and I talk about the things that I'm planning to talk about out loud as if I'm on stage. And if anything funny comes out of my mouth, then I write it down as a bullet point. And that's like the beginning.
Do you have a special room just for that? Or?
I do. I can only do it in the living room, but that's only because that's the only room with floor space in my small flat.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a living room.
Yeah.
Just any room. Like so, before the Fringe, I hire out a band rehearsal room down in Leith, where I live, like where rock bands like go to practice.
Yeah.
And it's like because they're like bomb shelters, because they need to be noise proof.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm not going to get disturbed. There's no Wi-Fi, no 4G, so I go do it there in like whilst I'm rehearsing my show.
Wow, I didn't expect that answer. That's brilliant. I feel like I should do that. I'm just totally distracted all the time.
Absolutely. So you lock yourself away, and because you're paying for it as well, you go, I better bloody do this.
Yeah, right.
And then so you can run through your show, your whole hour if you want, and that's also because the way you're talking it out that makes it really conversational.
Yeah,
which is what I like.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, that's it. I've been Darren Walsh. This has been Withnail. Thank you very much.
Thank you.